Chainsaw Man's action chapters are weird. Chainsaw Man's more slice of life chapters are weird. Now, when you combine the two, given this situation, I think this chapter being as strange as it was fits the series. Just because already with just the style of Chainsaw Man, like I said, you take the weird, goofy stuff that it's always kind of like more either really depressing and, dived into characters' minds, or just oddly funny, like, style, and then just Chainsaw Man vibes in general. This chapter honestly like makes sense for its whole setting. Anyway, before we even get to the chapter, the color page, both as the opening and the double spread, look amazing. I have said it so many times, and I keep saying it. I love Fujimoto's color palette. I think that, like, the way that he draws the colors, like the way that he puts in the colors, it's like a candy style. This is like a Willy Wonka freaking like picture, like in just the general, like, okay, this is what we're going to use to color this, and then you get it's this super metal monster. It's badass. I love his style so much. He's definitely one of my favorite color, like his color palette is one of my favorites, just because it's the exact opposite of what you think. You'd think it'd be some dark, dreary kind of like how Tokyo Ghoul has like that pastel kind of setup. It's done in like this almost more done in like kind of like this weird artsy smear kind of like style that I think fits the series for sure. But like Chainsaw Man's is just so weird. But anyway, we have Makima. Like, Makima already called for the Chainsaw Man to come help her. Kishibe is like trying to do something. It wouldn't really matter because this scene was funny from both just the scene in general, but you could tell some of the people who were just slandering Chainsaw Man after this chapter purely because they wanted to, because it's popular. It's kind of like when Kimetsu no Yaiba got really big, and then there were people that genuinely didn't like the series. It's just like, oh, well, I don't like this part. This part seems maybe a little rushed. I don't like this character. Something like their general opinions on stuff. And then there's people that just didn't like it because it was popular and were annoyed that they had to see it all the time because people were really hyped about the anime and stuff. But I mean, not even but. That's kind of like what I see happening right now with Chainsaw Man, because people are really starting to rave more about Chainsaw Man after, like, especially after the recent chapters. Now much crazier. It's just been hyping up and hyping up. But like, anybody who read this chapter and was like, oh my god, I can't believe they wasted Makima. Makima's dead. They just killed off your favorite girl. It's like, not only is that not true by anybody who's read the series and paid attention to the fact that Makima's been put in a situation where she normally would be dead, but she got back up. But literally last chapter, she outright explains the fact that she will have any of her injuries transferred into ailments and damages to random citizens because of her contract with the Prime Minister. So they didn't even, anybody who's complaining and then the idea like genuinely thinks Makima died doesn't pay attention to the series to the point of not reading the last chapter, or just doesn't read the series at all and just knows that people love Makima and wanted to try and play off that in order to in any way try and steer people away or just ruin people's fun. Makes no sense. Like, again, Makima's not going to die. And on top of the idea of Makima dying, we know that even in the idea that her contract doesn't go off, she's not going to be gone. The devils don't die the same way that people do. When the devils die, they go back to hell. When they die in hell, they come back to earth. They're in a constant cycle because their existence is based on, stems rather, out of the fear that people have in whatever they're, designed around. Like, obviously, Makima, the control devil, if she died, she would just go back to hell, and she's going to always exist as long as people, are afraid of being controlled. That's why the chainsaw's power, if they eat that devil, their names and memories are erased, so people don't remember them. So, like, say if Denji ate Prince, Denji ate the spider. Oh, yeah, she's a spider devil. She's not a fiend. He ate the spider devil. Spiders would be erased. People would probably just, I'm still kind of confused on that one, because it'd be like, would spiders, like, all over the world, I imagine they would just vanish, and then people would forget about them, so there wouldn't be the fear of them. Or if you had a fear of, I'm trying to think of a general thing people are afraid of. People are afraid of thunder. Maybe like thunder, just the after sound of when lightning strikes would just disappear, and people wouldn't know about it anymore, so the fear of it wouldn't exist, you know? So that's the whole setup. Is the way that the chainsaw works is how they actually get rid of devils. You can't actually get rid of a devil as long as people are afraid of whatever they're stemmed out of. So to do that, you need to erase them, essentially. And it wouldn't be the same way as, like, if you just had, like, a character, Marred Gear from Fairy Tail. His curse Memento Mori it completely bypasses and ignores the concepts of life and death and erases somebody. So when it erases them, you're gone now. But your memories and stuff still exist, whereas something like using a lost aspect attribute onto their magic would erase any knowledge and memories people have of that character. You would essentially have to do something like that to really get rid of a devil. Whereas, like, if Memento Mori, the curse, erased a person, the memories and stuff of them would still exist. So if you Memento Mori used on Makima gone. Imagine Makima are fully erased. Just, she no longer exists. People would still be memories of Makima and still have a fear of control, so she would just remanifest. And maybe it wouldn't be Makima entirely of personality, but it would still be a control devil. That needs to always be kept in mind about devils in the series. That's why Power's not really dead, Beam's not really dead, Violence isn't really dead. Maybe Aki's is a question based off of, like, whether or not he became a hybrid or not. Who knows entirely. But we don't know if when we meet them again, if they'll be the same character. Like, Power won't have her memory, so maybe she'll just be the Blood Devil. She won't be the same character we know, but she'll essentially just be, you know, a reset version of them. And so instead of all the learning that she did and all the development she had, she'll just go back to the base existence of the Blood Devil. It's such a weird thing that we just had explained and established in the story, and yet people skip over it. And it's just like, you pay attention. Like, I love the Chainsaw Man. It's so unpredictable, but you still should pay attention to stuff that happens. So people completely glossing over or ignoring big important plot stuff, it's just weird to me. And the only thing I can think of is either they just don't pay attention or they don't read the series and they just want to try and bog it down because it's popular. But anyway, Denji cuts him down. He hears somebody say, "Save me," and we know that's the thing that calls the chainsaw. And how it really was, like, it's like a burger joint, and it's Kobeni who's working there, and, like, she's not doing the best job because Kobeni is very awkward. She's very nervous. She is, you know, she's a bit of an emotional house of cards. She tries, but she's very easily shaken and can easily topple and fall over. And out of everybody in the series, every single person in the series, I want Kobeni to live into the end. If every single other named character, including Denji, is gone by the end, I will be happy if Kobeni lives. Because Kobeni is just she's like a side character that is clearly more important than, what you would expect a side character to be. But she also just keeps getting swept up into stuff. And it sucks. And, like, she just seems like such a nice, awkward girl that shit just constantly has to keep hitting her every single time she goes out and does anything. And I'm just like, she needs a little love. And I'm hoping so much that Fujimoto lets her end this series on a good note. I would the one character I hope for to have a good going life at the end of things is Kobeni. I'm worried because obviously she called the chainsaw, and we know the chainsaw will target people that call him instead. But I'm hoping Denji kind of maybe gains at least enough control to not kill her, or maybe somebody else calls for Denji, and then he goes over there before killing Kobeni. I got my fingers crossed. I really don't want that to happen. That is, out of all the chapters dropped in this week, like, there was a lot of good stuff from different manga, but, like, just in general, the thing that has me the most worried is Kobeni, because wouldn't surprise me if Fujimoto killed her, but I really don't want her to. I don't want him to. I don't want him to kill Kobeni at all. But obviously from this panel, as you'd expect, Denji shows up, as the Chainsaw Man. And I really like seeing, like, just him standing next to other characters in this form, because it shows how much bigger he is. He's just huge in both height and just general girth. He's just massive. Like, Denji has to be, like, what, like 2 to 3 feet taller, and like tripled, probably more than tripled in weight, considering we don't know what exactly his body is made of right now, because it's some form of plating, it's some form of weird, like, hardened skin, probably metal, given the fact, obviously, the chainsaw blades in his head. So even just assuming metal, he probably weighs like 1,000 pounds plus. But Denji just starts, slicing people up. And I mentioned, like, there was like a feel of a slice of life kind of chapter, because Denji, you could see like part of him in his mind, which is similar to how Aki was. Like, Aki, when he was being controlled by the gun devil, so that's one of the reasons I think he's, instead of being the gun fiend, that he's actually a hybrid, is because he still showed like a level of cognitive ability. Like, we don't really know exactly what otherwise happens. Like, we've never seen anything about the person that was, the original owner of Power's body, or, Beams, any fiend. So maybe if they still retain their mentality, it's more towards being a hybrid, whereas they're just kind of pushed back temporarily, in their deep reaches of their mind. Because with Aki, it was like he was like the little kid again before the gun devil struck, and he was playing, in a snowball fight, it has something to do with his brother. Whereas Denji, back when he's a kid again, because you could tell by the tank top he's wearing, and he's talking to Pochita, and he's talking about how he would really like to eat a hamburger that isn't rotten, because we know how he grew up, and how he pretty much just scavenged and did anything he could for food, and just lived poor as shit, and just was so happy the day that he got taken in by Makiba, because he actually got to eat food that wasn't the bottom of the barrel, or sometimes below or outside the barrel, the garbage. But he sits down, and he's, he wants a hamburger, and he's just trying to, like, get it out there. And this is a weird situation, considering not only is obviously, like, living in the Chainsaw Man world gotta be terrifying because of the devils, but this is a horrifying devil who shows up, and instead, like, he shows up, starts killing random people, and then starts asking for food, and sits down. You'd just be so confused. You'd just be like, how do I get out of this scenario? If I run, I die. I don't know what he's saying. I don't know exactly what he wants. And Kobeni figuring it out. Again, that's why she's great. One of the reasons why she's great. And she's trying so hard, and she goes to bring him food and trips, and I'm like, she looks so sad, and at the same time, I'm just like, Kobeni, don't give up. Please, just keep trying. Get back on your feet. She's obviously very nervous. She's nervous in general, and this is going to be way more taxing to her, just her everything in her totality. This is going to be taxing on her. I'm wondering still what her fiend is, or not her fiend, her devil. Because back when she, fought way long ago, she seemed hyper focused. So I'm wondering if she's gonna have to get in that kind of state of mind, maybe a focus devil or something, or just like the adrenaline devil or whatever it ends up being. Like, she's gonna need it in order just to get over there and give Denji the food. I like at the end of the chapter, and everyone's like not sure because they're seeing her fail time again. And as far as they know, this is what they need to do in order to survive. And Kobeni is already like the new person that keeps fucking up. And they're watching her doing it again in a potentially life and death situation. And she starts like sobbing and crying. And like, generally, like if this happened to some character, it'd be like, damn, that this character's kind of pathetic. But I mean, like with Kobeni, knowing her already, and like knowing what she's like, and just knowing all the shit she has to deal with, and here in this situation, how absolutely taxing it'd be, I'm just like, this is hurting me. Legitimately, this is hurting me. Like, I like Kobeni. I like her character. She's like, you just look at her and you just want to be like, you want to just like give her a piece of paper that says like, here's a ticket to some vacation, and time off at work, and some money. It's just good vibes and smiles. I just want her to be happy. like I said, all the other characters, because she gets roped into stuff, but like when you look at like Power, you know, and Denji, like look at the entire main cast, and she's kind of like main cast adjacent, and you see all the crazy shit that the main cast is. You know, you got the blood fiend and the hybrid Denji with the chainsaw's power, and all these people are after him, and Makima's the control devil, and Aki is this dude who's affected by the gun devil who was like doing everything he could to strive to eventually kill him, and then, you know, went through all this development in order to just to live the life he currently had, and then everything that happened. And then there's Kobeni, who's just trying to earn money for her brother to go to school, and she's always getting pressured by people to do things, and I'm just like, man, this is unfortunate. This is literally like the way that Kobeni feels to me. It's like they got the Chainsaw Man cast, and they're like, we need one more. We need one more to fill a quota. And they went up to a side character and they said, hey, you're sticking with us. And they're just like, she's just like, I have no lines of dialogue in any of my scenes. And like, you do now, improvise. And I'm just like, Kobeni, please just survive. I just want to say, like, character deaths, there have been ones that make me sad. There have been ones that make me cheated. Kobeni dies, I'm going to be fucking pissed. I will legitimately be mad. I don't think I've ever been truly mad on a video. I've been frustrated, I've been angry, but I've never really been mad. And if Kobeni dies, I'll be fucking pissed. I'll be legitimately pissed. Because like all the other characters, like I said, some characters die, like Himeno, it sucked, it was unfortunate, I miss her still, I really liked her. We don't know exactly what's up with Reze. Like I said, when it comes to like the devils and stuff, they can't really die, but we don't know if when next time we see them, if they'll be the same character. Kobeni is just a person, and it's not like with Aki where it's set up potentially coming back. Kobeni has nothing to where if she dies, she's gone, and I don't want that to happen. Anyway, I've ranted enough a little bit as just a prelude to Kobeni. I have the hopes that Fujimoto will decide not to kill her, and maybe he'll just bully her. Save her to bully her a different day, which is better than killing her. So we'll see. Anyway, comment below, thumbs up the video, befriend the like button, subscribe button, check out my other videos, and additional for this video, pray for Kobeni. I'm not religious, but I'm willing to pray if it means even the slightest chance of her living. But anyway, other than that, like I said, all the things, and I really appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and thank you all for listening. Bye.